Shalom Israel, you're online with the Israelite School of UPK. Priest and Captain Soccer will hold 9 class live from Memphis, Tennessee. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have classes here in Memphis from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Address to the Memphis School is 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. Again, classes are from 6 to 8 Tuesday through Thursday. For you brothers and sisters tuning in, you got family, loved ones, people you care about. Get them in contact with the ISUPK, man. We provide many services for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Most importantly, since 1969, the Israelite School of UPK has been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? Truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2023, there's nothing more important than for God's chosen people to find out the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is here on this earth. So what we like to do with these classes is give so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians an opportunity to go into this book called the Bible, to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on the earth. You know what I'm saying? Like to start the class off with questions. If any brothers and sisters have any questions in the class, all you gotta do is raise your hand. If you have any questions online, all you gotta do is type them in. We'll go ahead and go from there. Today is the 4th of July, being celebrated all across this country called America as America's Independence Day. We're going to talk today about the 4th of July and how it is one of the greatest um, examples of hypocrisy that exists in modern times. It's a celebration of America's um, vying for independence from Great Britain. Great Britain were the colonizers or the fathers who sent their children over here into the Western Hemisphere, across the Atlantic Ocean into America. And when they established themselves in this land, saw that it was a land that they could take for themselves. They did it in enslaving and killing Native American Indians. They used their guile and their savagery and their ability to stoop to the lowest depths possible in order to swindle the Native Indians out of everything that they had um, that belonged to them over here in this land. And a short time after colonizing a large portion of the eastern United States, um, the sons who Great Britain had sent over here got tired of paying taxes, got tired of a government that they felt was being tyrannical, got tired of having to answer to someone else. So they went and set out to establish for themselves their own country, their own name, their own land. And in doing so, created a document called the Declaration of Independence that was signed in July 4th, 1776. And so after the Declaration of Independence was signed, those sons that Great Britain had sent to America banded together and determined among themselves that they would die or fight to be free from their oppressors of Great Britain. So here we are, some was it 200 years later, and America celebrates this holiday, and it's promoted as being a celebration of freedom and the resolve of men to not settle for living under tyranny and not settle for living in unfair um, circumstances with the government that is cruel and not understanding, and that does more taking from the people than caring for the people. And for the life of me, even before I came into the truth, why the 4th of July was something that was celebrated by black people in America, Hispanics and Native Indians, it just never registered for me. Because July 4th in 1776, all the things that the sons of Great Britain who were here in America agreed upon in that document, none of it applied to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The same tyranny and the same cruel treatment that the sons of Great Britain were fighting to remove off of their backs, they represented that tyranny and that oppression on the backs of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And knowing that there was never a time that we band together and we fought and we stood up and we put it on the line that we would die fighting before we would continue to live under tyranny, what part does black people play in the celebration of the 4th of July? So tonight we're going to go into the Bible. We're going to also go into some historical records. We're also going to some, some speeches and some statements that are powerful and necessary for us to be able to understand that we have no place in the celebration of America's independence. We have no place in the celebration of our oppressors fighting and freeing themselves from their oppressors. And it's something that when you wake up to the truth, things like this, the 4th of July, make you thankful to know the truth. Because for so long, so many of our people celebrated a thing that really was a slap in their face. For so long, so many of our people have participated in something that really was a mockery of their very existence, a mockery of their humanity. And they don't even understand that that's what it is. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it, man. First scripture we're gonna go to. Let me get Psalm chapter 10. Matter of fact, no, it's not get Psalms 10. Hold on. It's not get Psalms 10 yet. Let me get Psalms 10. Let me get um there we go. Get Proverbs chapter 3. Get Proverbs chapter 3. All right. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. And it says, Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. A lot of this celebration of the 4th of July, as it pertains to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, a lot of our people that began celebrating the 4th of July celebrated it out of a sense of jealousy, out of a sense of envy, out of a sense of wanting to belong to an idea that seems so great. When you read the Declaration of Independence or you read the preamble, which is what most people are familiar with, the preamble of the Declaration starts out by saying, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and are endowed with the right to pursue the happiness, peace, prosperity, and happiness, or life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Every man is entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And those ideas that exist in the Declaration of Independence, they seem so grand and so amazing. It's so, man, it's so not ideological is not the word I'm looking for. What's the word where something is like it's a great idea, or it's utopia. It's like a utopian thing, but that's utopian ain't the word I'm looking for neither. It's like the idea that there could be a place that exists on the earth where everybody's entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Such a grand idea. It's something that no one would deny, nobody would argue with. Man, it's so amazing this idea they had. Black people, we've attached ourselves to that idea because it is something that we desperately desire, something that we desperately want. We read the Declaration of Independence or be taught about it in school, and it sounds like something that, oh man, I want to belong to that place. And we've been told the lie and the dream that America is that place. And we've learned about the colonists fighting for that thing. We learned about America fighting for that place to be established. And because we want it so bad, we're jealous that they fought for it and we never did. So because we jealous that they fought for their freedom and fought for their independence and we never did, man, we want to be a part of it so bad. So that's where us celebrating the Declaration of Independence comes out of that desire of wanting to belong to something so great, even though we've never ever had anything to do with it. And those ideas that they wrote in the Declaration of Independence, they wrote it for themselves. They, while writing about all these things, knew full well that they were going to deny life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They knew that while they were saying that they hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they themselves did not believe that all men were created equal because there were people who they looked at like animals. There were people who they looked at like less than human. And so we cannot, out of jealousy and out of a desire to belong to an idea that's great, celebrate with someone something that they fought for that they never granted you, never afforded you. You understand? Again, Proverbs 3:31. Envy thou not the oppressor. A lot of us celebrate 4th of July, man, out of a jealous desire to want to belong to what it is that these devils created for themselves. You understand? And choose none of his ways. You can't choose the ways of the oppressor. You understand? The reality of life is that the Declaration of Independence is bullshit. And there will never be a place on the planet Earth that exists where all men are created equal, where everybody is entitled to the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You understand? The Declaration of Independence was a document that those founding fathers used in order to um, propagate their war, propagate their rebellion, propagate the idea that they could fight against the government that they had pledged allegiance to, all at the same time knowing that they were going to deny the right for all the things that they were requesting to the people who they ruled over, and still continue to deny that right to the people that they continue to rule over. You understand? Let me drop that. I want to pull up something. I want to pull up Frederick Douglass's 4th of July speech. All right. This is a speech from Frederick Douglass and is being read by James Earl Jones. If y'all don't know, James Earl Jones is the guy who was the voice of Darth Vader in Star Wars, right? Mm-hmm. What else is Frederick Douglass? I mean, what else? I said Frederick Douglass. What else has James Earl Jones done? Does anybody know? He was Mufasa in The Lion King. Coming to America. He was in Coming to America, right? Okay, what else? That might be it. Hell, that might be all the things he's famous for. But he's got a famous, deep voice. He got one of them famous, deep, black voices, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and play this. I'm hoping y'all be able to hear it in the room, cause I ain't got the speaker plugged in from here. But we'll go ahead and play it, all right, for everybody that's online, so everybody can hear this thing here. All right, if y'all do have to turn it on your phone, y'all can, all right? But this is James Earl Jones reading the Declaration of Independence. I mean, reading, goddamn. James Earl Jones is going to read Frederick Douglass's speech. about the 4th of July. Here you go right here.
Ladies Anti-Slavery Society. This is James Earl Jones reading the historic address during a performance of Voices of a People's History of the United States. It was co-edited by Howard Zinn. The late, great historian introduced the address.
Frederick Douglass, once a slave, became a brilliant and powerful leader of the anti-slavery movement. In 1852, he was asked to speak in celebration of the 4th of July.
Fellow citizens, pardon me, and allow me to ask, why am I called upon to speak here today? What have I, or those I represent, to do with your national independence? Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in that Declaration of Independence extended to us? And am I, therefore, called upon to bring our humble offering to the national altar and to confess the benefits and express devout gratitude for the blessings resulting from your independence to us? I am not included within the pale of this glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought life and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn. To drag a man in fetters into the grand illuminated temple of liberty and call upon him to join you in joyous anthems were inhuman mockery and sacrilegious irony. Do you mean, citizens, to mock me by asking me to speak today? What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days of the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is a constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham. Your boasted liberty, an unholy license. Your national greatness, swelling vanity. Your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciation of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy, a thin veil to cover up crimes that would disgrace a nation of savages. There's not a nation of the earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of these United States at this very hour. At a time like this, scorching irony, not convincing argument, is needed. Oh, had I the ability and could reach the nation's ear, I would today pour forth a fiery stream of biting ridicule, blasting reproach, withering sarcasm, and stern rebuke. For it is not light that is needed, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, the earthquake. The feeling of the nation must be quickened. The conscience of the nation must be roused. The propriety of the nation must be startled. The hypocrisy of the nation must be exposed, and the crimes against God and man must be proclaimed and denounced.
James Earl Jones reading the words of Frederick.
Give that a hand. That brother read that speech the way that speech needed to be read. Now, if you listen to the words, they tried to parade Frederick Douglass out there like some type of, sucker and sellout. This is a man who was a former slave, who had fought, to raise himself out of that condition and found himself at the forefront of white people's push to abolish slavery, right? See, but here's what y'all got to understand about the white man's push to abolish slavery. All of those devils back in the 1800s that was right before the Civil War that were pushing to end slavery, they also were pushing for black people to leave America and go back to Africa. Your Pan-Africanists of today, your Marcus Garveys, your Noble Drew Ali, who the modern day people saying we should go back to Africa? Polite. He's really low class though. A lot of people don't know about Polite. Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson even says that he's a nephew of Frederick Douglass, right? Mm-hmm. These Pan-Africanist people don't know that has always been the oppressor's agenda, was to convince you that you were African and to send you out of this land when you actually belong to this land. Your foremothers and fathers were here in this land long before white people came here. And they lived and they thrived and they owned land and they had cattle and they had cities and civilization. The big push from the oppressor to get you to leave America was so that they could get rid of everybody who really had a claim to this land. So the Pan-Africanists who are trying to push you to go back to Africa don't realize that they playing into the oppressor's hand. Because the oppressor knows that Africa ain't the place where you belong and there ain't nothing over there for you. The place where you belong is right here in America, and all the things that belong to you are right here in America. Everybody understands? They didn't understand that Frederick Douglass wasn't one of them niggas that was going to let them push him be, he wasn't going to be a spokesman for them to tell black people to go back to Africa. Frederick Douglass and a lot of them black people during that time was staunchly against leaving America because they knew that it's our land. Yeah. Our people was here first. We was living here before y'all came over here. Y'all came over here and moved us off of our land. Y'all came over here and lied to us and enslaved us. We not going nowhere. Frederick Douglass was one of them type of cats. So those are abolitionists who he became friends with and partners with and rubbed elbows with. They thought that he was just some sellout nigga that they could get to parade in front of black people and be a token Negro. They put him up there to do this 4th of July speech, and he got up there and said, F y'all. Right. What the hell you want from me? This day ain't got nothing to do with me. This celebration, you talking about your freedom and your liberty and your right to be treated like a man, but y'all don't treat us like men. Y'all don't have us. Y'all didn't give us no goddamn freedom. We still getting our backs whipped. We still on the plantation, but you want us to celebrate with you, your independence? That's a slap in the goddamn face. You making a mockery of us. Y'all trying to make fun of us. You think this is a cruel thing y'all doing. To even ask me to get up here. I'm going to get up here and tell the truth. Y'all some evil bastards. God should destroy you. And all the slaves should learn from you is that you are cruel and evil. And you think that it's okay to stand for your liberty and for your freedom, even while you take our liberty and our freedoms away. Damn that. That is righteous. Everybody understands. And that is what should be in the minds of black people on the 4th of July. What the hell do you have to celebrate when you have been granted none of what those founding fathers of America or those sons of Great Britain fought against Britain for? Mm-hmm. Give me Psalms chapter 10, verse 10. Psalms chapter 10, verse 4. Psalms chapter 10, verse 4. This is what the 4th of July is about. Psalms 10 and 4 says, the wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God. You understand? The wicked, which is our oppressor, through the pride of his countenance. What does that mean? His pride for in what he stands for. His pride in what he's accomplished. He won't seek after God. You would think that white people, knowing that they signed the Declaration of Independence and created this document all while having us in slavery, would say, surely we couldn't get them to celebrate it. Surely it would be a wrong thing to try to have them partake in our happiness when we've robbed them of their happiness. That's not something that we should do. But no, they don't think about God. The Most High is not in their thoughts. Because of their pride, all they can think about is their celebration. They don't think about how it makes the people who they continue to rule over feel. So they don't think about God. They don't think about what's just and what's right. Everybody understand? The end of verse 4 in Psalms 10. God is not at all, so like God is not in all his thoughts. Meaning the Lord, they don't think about God. They don't think about the higher power and how the higher power would feel about this situation. Sister Shawabah.
So like I said, what they be doing in church?
What you mean?
Like, because I believe that they don't really believe like in God and follow the Bible. Like, what do they really be doing in church? Because a lot of them go to church.
You mean white people or black people?
White people.
Okay, white people believe that God is with them. That's okay. That's a good question. White people believe that everything that they have done and are doing is what God wants them to do. You understand? So when they, like, for instance, reading these kinds of scriptures, they don't see themselves as the wicked. They see the wicked as, hell, you. We the wicked. They look at the drug dealer. They look at the thief.
Wow.
They look at us like we the wicked. Right. They selling that crack because God is not at all in their thoughts. They rob and steal from each other because they don't see judgment from God coming. But in their mind, judgment from God is them. Their judgment from God. The police coming and raiding your neighborhood, kicking down your door, sentencing you to 99 years in prison. They believe they're doing God's work. Wow. So, yes, God. So while the Bible is talking about them and God is not at all in their thoughts, they're God. They're doing what God wants. They're the ones bringing order to the world. They're the ones teaching all the evildoers that this is the right way that you do it. Right. Even though the way that they get it done is evil and cruel and go against God. In their minds, no, this is the way it has to be. This is the only way that we establish God's order in the earth. Right now, what they're doing with this LGBTQ thing, these conservatives absolutely believe they are 1,000% correct. Because death to the faggots. In their mind, they're standing for God. Even though they're murderers and rapists and thieves and robbers and killers, I don't know, they're doing God's will. They look at, poor black people like we're the heathen. Like we're the savages. We're the people that God has rejected. And because God has rejected us, they are right to reject us. Because God has rejected us, they're right to treat us cruelly and to abuse us and to take advantage of us because we're the wicked. That's what's in their mind. Everybody understand? Verse 5. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. That's the white man. You understand? His ways are always grievous. All his solutions, all the solutions he comes up with to solve the problems or the ills of society, they are grievous. Yeah. Crack cocaine hit the streets. The government knew that they were behind crack cocaine. There was a whole entire Iran-Contra scandal that took place in the Congress where they had the military man on court saying, yeah, we were moving drugs and guns to the Guatemalans and the Sandinistas in Panama, but we were taking those guns giving them guns in exchange for drugs, taking those drugs to America, getting rich off the drugs, and then going to Iran and giving money to the Iranians so they could fight against the people who were trying to come up against their government. This was happened publicly. This took place in public in front of the government that the military was leading a drug operation in order to sell guns to South Americans in exchange for cocaine, bring cocaine to America, sell the cocaine in America, get rich, then take the money and give it to Iranians so that the Iranians would make deals with American businesses to allow us into their countries to get oil. So the whole crack epidemic came from the U.S. military. This took place in the government. They still passed three strikes laws and said the black people were savages and we were the super criminals and the super villains and they needed to lock us up. But you knew you did it. Yeah. You're the ones who are responsible for it. Who cares? They ignore that part. That part, they don't even think about. We got to lock these niggas up. Their ways are always grievous. Their solution to the crack epidemic was not, we got to stop these drugs, man. We got to get this military. We got to shut the military down because they bringing all the drugs to America. No, their way was three strikes law. Right. You get caught with a gram of crack cocaine, 5 years off the top immediately. Their solution was to further destroy our families, to further destroy our communities, to further criminalize us. His ways are always grievous. Everybody understand? And God's judgments are far above, out of his sight. They've never considered that there is someone that's above them, that they are not the moral authority, that they are not the God of the earth, that the God of the earth will punish them for all the evil and the cruelty that they've done. It's above their sight. It goes over their head. Yeah. The idea that they are the wicked completely goes over their head. The idea that they could be held responsible for the wrong they've done, it goes over their head. It's like they're oblivious to it. Right. Doesn't even exist. Right. What are you talking about? Punishment from who? We're the punishers. We're the ones that bring down judgment. We're the ones that rain down God's vengeance. God's vengeance doesn't exist outside of the American military. Yeah. They do operate. That's what's in their mind. Everybody understand? As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. What is puffing at your enemies? You ever seen cats in the streets you ever seen a cat do like this to somebody? What you gonna do, nigga? You ain't gonna do nothing. Yeah. Buck at them, that's puffing at them. That's, nigga, what you gonna do? That's America. That's the white man. We're their enemies. The 4th of July is their greatest form of puffing at us. That's a very beautiful bracelet you got on. It's match your outfit and everything. It look really good. I don't know where you got that from. I wish whoever made that, they should be selling those online somewhere. They should put those online and tell people that you can get you one just like this. You could be fly just like Sister Kapata's, because that thing matches perfully. You know what I'm saying? Somebody made it, but then somebody had to match it up. Both of y'all did y'all thing. Get both of y'all hand. Get Sister's hand. Sister got a pretty bracelet, match her shirt, got all the colors matching. Glory. You understand? But the wicked, through all they puff at their enemies. And why? Because they don't believe that no one's going to do anything. Right. They don't believe that they'll ever be touched. Everybody understand? Right. And that is why these oppressors have continued to progress in their society the way that they have. Right. There is no consequences or repercussions. There is no judgment day. Everybody understands? And the Bible speaks about that. Let me get first of all, let me go ahead and put that in the notes. Give me a second. I'll put that one in there. We're gonna go to the book of Isaiah next. Pull the scripture up for y'all now. Give me a second. Get Isaiah chapter 47. All right. Isaiah chapter 47. All right, we're gonna read quite a few verses in this, so just bear with me, all right? But this is Isaiah chapter 47. We're gonna start at verse 6. Understand that with this 4th of July celebration, what also is being boasted on is that we are the people who can't be defeated. We're the people who can't be touched. Everybody understand? Mm-hmm. And that is very prominent in this oppressor's mind, is that they sit up top and nobody else could ever be above them.
Right.
And that is why they do a lot of what they do. The reason for the 4th of July, it could be made clear to black people that this day ain't got nothing to do with you. They could definitely, rub it more in our faces if they wanted to. But to them, black people's ignorance is almost like I won't say a novelty, but black people's ignorance is almost like icing on the cake to white people. It's like, hey, we give you a day off. Go celebrate freedom.
Right.
Go light fireworks in red, white, and blue. And black people just so happy to have a day off and just so happy to be able to do something, have a cookout and a barbecue and do something fun that we don't even consider what the day is really all about. And to white people, that's icing on the cake. These niggas don't even know this day ain't got nothing to do with them. They dress in red, white, and blue like that's their colors.
Right.
They go light fireworks like the fireworks got something to do with anything they did. The fireworks for white people is symbolic of them blowing up Britain. Them blowing up their oppressors. Yeah, the fireworks, the song, the Star Spangled Banner. There's a part of the song where it says, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, or so gladly we hailed as the twilight's last streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. The rockets and the bombs bursting is them fighting the British.
Right.
Through all the explosions, they still seeing that flag waving. So the explosions through the night was the sign that we winning. We defeating them. So now, hundreds of years later, you're supposed to see them bombs bursting and the colors red, white, and blue is in the sky.
Oh my God.
And there's somewhere there's a flag waving and you're like, oh, America's so great. Why is niggas doing that? Why are you participating in that? Why are you lighting fireworks?
Yeah.
What do those bombs bursting in there mean for you? You still was a slave. To white people, it means one thing. To black people, we don't even know what it means. We just doing it because, hey, that's just what we do.
Yeah.
That's icing on the cake for white people. It's like, man, these niggas just so stupid. They just so dumb. We ain't even got to tell them the day ain't about them.
Mm-hmm.
But 4th of July is a totally different celebration for white people than it is for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
That's right.
And white people know that. And they don't even mind to tell us why we shouldn't be doing it. Everybody understand? Isaiah chapter 47, verse 6. But God understands the difference. And he lays it out here. I was wroth with my people. I polluted mine inheritance. This is the Most High speaking. He was angry with his people. He polluted his inheritance and given them into thy hand. He gave us into the hand of the oppressor.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
The white man believes that he took us.
Right.
He believes that he conquered us. He believes that he subdued the savages, that he conquered and defeated the people who had done all these great things here in America. He doesn't realize that the Lord gave us into their hands.
Yeah.
The Most High made us weak so that you could be strong. Let's keep reading. Thou did show them no mercy. You understand? The Lord gave us into their hand, but they showed us no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. You understand? They laid a very heavy burden on the Lord by what they did to us. Everybody understand? Verse 7. And thou said, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou did not lay these things to thy heart, neither did thou remember the latter end of it. They did not lay it to their heart that God gave these people into our hands. They did not lay it to their heart that God allowed these people to be weak so that we could be strong. They, in their pride, believed that it was them. Right now, in the pride of white people, yeah, we conquered God's people, man. What is God?
Yeah.
What is God to a conqueror? What is God to a conquistador? Y'all was worshiping this God. We came over here and wiped y'all out. Gave y'all smallpox or salmonella, killed millions of y'all, took over y'all land. You understand? Transformed the land, transformed the way the land was looking. You understand? There's so much history. I've been studying about them draining lakes and goddamn putting dams up to stop water from flowing in certain areas. These white men, these some evil people we talking about, but in their minds, they God. You can't tell them about no God. They God. They the ones that tell the rivers where to flow and tell the lakes where they can develop, where they can build water up. They go drain the land and turn they turn a lake into a desert. God made this place to be a lake. They drain the lake, block it up, no more water coming in. 50 years later, it's a desert. And people are like, damn, where does desert come from? White man made the desert. Because in his mind, he's the one that rules the earth. He's the one that decides what happens on the planet. Everybody understand? There's places where people used to live. The white man made it a lake. Right now, there's a place called Lake Anna that exists in Pennsylvania, right? Giant, it's the biggest man-made lake on the earth, I believe, or at least the biggest man-made lake in America. Used to be Indian tribal territory. When white man could not defeat these Indians and couldn't kill them and get them off this land, they just redirected a river or redirected some lake and poured it into this land and drowned all the damn Indians. And now it's a lake. You Jewish people in America, I grew up, the kids I grew up in school with, for middle school every summer, they would go up to the lake house. And all these white kids I went to school with, all of them had lake houses. And in my mind, how the hell y'all all got lake houses? Everybody's lake house was on Lake Anna. Whole neighborhood, all of them from Rockville, Maryland, all had lake houses on Lake Anna. And when I went and did the research and studied Lake Anna, where did it come from? This is a man-made lake. 100 years ago, there wasn't no lake. This was all Indian territory. But the white man, being the devil, believing that these people, they weak, they stupid. He flooded the land. I'm talking about, when I say flooded the land, I'm talking about this is a 30-foot deep lake. Right. That used to be all land. White man flooded it. This lake is big as hell. When I tell you, we could drive on a boat for 2 hours around Lake Anna and not see the whole lake. It's how big this place is in Pennsylvania. The white man just created it out of nowhere. Never was a lake before. It never even existed. They made it a lake. Drowned all the native Indians. Because what God? Nigga, we God. Everybody understands? The Lord is saying that they did all these things and never considered that there may be some consequences and repercussions. Everybody understand? They never remembered the latter end of all the evil that they were doing. Verse 8. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwells carelessly, that says in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. That's what's in the minds of your oppressor. We are. Nobody else beside us. Can't nobody compete with us. Ain't nobody on our level. We run this thing. They don't even think about God. They don't even consider that there's a higher power. They don't even consider that there's someone out there who's going to bring them to justice. Right. Everybody understands? Right. I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. To sit as a widow means your husband died. Yeah. To have the loss of children means your children have been killed. Mm-hmm. What usually happens for a woman to end up a widow and her children die? This is important for understanding God and understanding life on earth. What would happen in the life of a woman that she would lose her husband and her children all at one time? Shawba.
Would it be like a sickness?
No. Why? Because the woman would die too if it was a sickness.
Well, maybe she did.
Just think of the history of life on earth. What would cause a woman to lose her husband and her children all at one time?
That would be taken from her, like it was in slavery or something. Like our kids was taken in slavery, our men was taken in slavery.
What happens before slavery? You're right. What happens before slavery?
Before we were put in slavery?
Just think of life. What happens before people can be put in slavery?
Somebody invades our land?
War.
Yeah.
War. You lose your husband and children in war. Okay. There's a war being fought. Husband goes to fight. Yeah. He dies. Yeah. You lose the war. Now you're a woman. You're taken into slavery. Your children either killed or they go into slavery too. You read in the Bible, when we went into the land of these other nations, the Lord said, slay everybody except for the women and the children. But you take the woman, she's going to be a slave. You take the children and separate her from the children, they're going to be slaves too. You got to kill all the men, though. Men and children are taken. A woman becomes a widow and loses children as a result of war. Everybody understands? They have said, oh, we'll never be widows. We'll never have the loss of children. Meaning what? We'll never be defeated in war. We'll never be conquered in battle. The Lord has read the spirit of these people and knows what is inside of them. Why? Because there's nothing new under the sun. There's no new man on the earth. People on the earth are the same way they always have been. And oppressors have always been oppressors. Conquerors have always been conquerors. And the Most High knows what is in their heart. Everybody understands? Verse 9. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundances of thine enchantments. Everybody understands? What is the Lord saying? You're going to experience the loss of children and widowhood in its perfection. Meaning what? You're going to experience it at the greatest level it's ever been experienced. There's a war that is coming for the white man where he is going to know the pain that he's caused to everyone else. They are going to know what it is like to lose all their men, go into slavery, and have their children taken from them. Everybody understand? Why? Is it happening for no reason? No. It's happening because of the multitude of their sorceries and for the great abundance of their enchantments. Everybody understands? That's what the 4th of July is. It's just part of their sorceries and enchantments. Right. The rest of the earth looks at America's 4th of July and says, how the hell they get these black people to do that? How they get these Native Indians and these Hispanics to celebrate that? It's amazing. Yeah. Think about Juneteenth. That last month was Juneteenth, right? Yeah. And here's what always... this is why I never celebrated Juneteenth, even when I was in the world. I heard it was a Southern thing for some people in Texas, but okay. If you have to celebrate a day that somebody came and said, hey, don't you know y'all free? Nigga, you never were free. Freedom isn't something that somebody comes and tells you have. Right. Freedom ain't something that's, hey, man, don't you know y'all free? Nigga, what? Yeah, man, about 2 years ago, they freed y'all. Free? What you mean? Yeah. Y'all ain't got to do this no more. Y'all could just leave. For real? Oh, man, Juneteenth. That's not how that happens. That's never how that has happened anywhere on the earth. Everywhere else on the earth where people have ever gotten free, they fought for their freedom. Right. They took their freedom. But black people have a celebration of a day where some nigga just came and said, hey, man, what y'all doing over here? What you mean what we doing? We working. Why? Nigga, because we got to. No, you don't. You free. Free? What is you talking about? Nigga, you ain't got to be working out here. You was free. Free? What are you talking about? Yeah, man, 2 years ago, they freed the black people. Y'all can leave. Are we free? Oh, shit, nigga, we free. What is that? That's, now what? Nigga, we free. Now what? Now I gotta get a job. Yeah. Now I gotta go somewhere else and do exactly what the hell I've been doing. How am I free? Yeah. That's black people in America. You free, nigga, you free? Free to do what? To do what? Free to go where? Free how? We still are people that are under the government of another people. Right now, black people talking about, yeah, man, you see what they did to affirmative action? Because, nigga, you didn't do nothing to affirmative. Like, you still at the whims of these other people. This government can just decide what it wants to decide, and black people just got to be like, yeah, man, you know they said. That's been your whole life in America. Well, you know they said. Juneteenth, well, you know they said we was free. July 4th, you know they said we was independence. Like Valentine's Day, I got to get the flowers and the chocolates and the candy. Christmas, you know they say it's Jesus' birthday. Easter, you know they say he risen. Black people don't even know what we just don't even know what the hell we doing in life. Because they just telling us a bunch of stuff. 4th of July shows you that that's not how life works. In life, you got to go take what you want. You got to go fight and be willing to die for what you want. Those fireworks every year should make us angry that they get to celebrate their fight for their freedom.
Right.
When we celebrate what? Some nigga coming and saying, "Hey man, y'all still doing it in that field over there?" Guess what though? Somebody got to be in the field, nigga. It's a job. I work at a cotton plant. I work at a plantation in 2023, and there is no way around it that this is a plantation. They make it clear and abundant at every turn. There's no way not to know, nigga, you on the plantation. And the thought that there's somebody black somewhere celebrating the 4th of July is mind-boggling to me. I know there's no way none of the niggas I slave with know that they can celebrate and say they free. I mean, and the heinous things that are done. It's I don't know. My experience prior to moving down here to Tennessee and having a slave in Tennessee, my experience with slavery was very different when I lived in DC. But I think it's because my only experience with slavery was in the Union. So I was an electrician, worked in the Union. We had rules and rights and different things like that. Down here, you got to just suck it up, nigga. You better not talk back. And then if you want to talk back, if you're talking back amongst just the slaves, there's some slave nigga that'll say, "Oh no, you better not be talking like it's 2023." I promise y'all, a nigga said to me, "Man, you can't be talking like that, man. You better let them hear you talking like that, man. You listen, I'm trying to tell you, man. Them folks, man, they got lawyers, man. Them folks they got everybody, man. You better not let nobody hear you talking like that." And I'm looking at him like, nigga, what the fuck is wrong with you? Don't you know it's 2023? I can't speak my mind, nigga. These folks playing with us. They cutting our hours, telling us we gotta leave. When we work 8-hour shifts. You can't just tell me I gotta leave in 7 hours. My job, the state of Tennessee say you a full-time worker, you entitled to 37 and a half hours. So they at least got to let me work my 7 and a half hours every night. I may not get my full 8 hours, but I at least get my 7 and a half. They try to tell me that I gotta leave at 7 hours. And I'm telling all the niggas I work with that everybody mad about it. Everybody is feeling like, man, it's messed up, man. Why they telling us we got to leave early? I don't want to leave early. But nobody's saying nothing. I'm the nigga that's not. I'm gonna say it. I'm not leaving early. I'm staying. I'm getting my 7.5 hours, and I'm talking to all the other people I work with. And this one nigga that's like, "Oh man, y'all better not be listening to what he talking about. He gonna get everybody fired. He gonna get all of us laid off, man. You better read that book. They got that employee handbook say 7 hours. The book say you work between 9 and 5:30. It don't say you work the whole time." And I'm like, nigga, what are you talking about? If I wanted to leave every day at 2:00, could I leave? Nah, why not? Cause it say I work from 9 to 5:30. So how the hell they get? If I can't decide that I want to leave at 6 every night, at 2 every night. That's right. How can they decide I get to leave at 2 every night? Like that's the point of being full time is I get my full time. He trying to tell me, no, man, they can tell you to leave whenever they want to. No, the fuck they can't. And I'm arguing with him in front of everybody, and he's just like so scared and you're such a hoe. What are you talking about, bruh? I'm not leaving early. I'm staying till 5:30. I don't care what nobody say. Oh man, all right, man. Okay. Like, nigga, you such a... And then all the other people standing around like, man, I'm with Chief. I'm Chief at the slave. I'm with Chief. And I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But this nigga, man, oh, man, listen. Then after the conversation, he was going to come to me and say, you know, man, I'm with you, right? I'm with everything you say. I'm just telling you what they going to say. Nah, bro, don't do that. Don't tell me what they going to say. You're really scary. Yeah. And you scared that if I stay on this clock, they going to come ask you about it. Because really, He the nigga that's supposed to make everybody leave.
Oh, damn.
He on the same level of, but nigga, you a worker like I'm a worker. You ain't no manager. You a team leader, nigga. You ain't got no authority. But he the one that tell everybody, all right, y'all, we got to get off the clock. Which is why I'm arguing in front of him to everybody else. I ain't leaving. I'm telling everybody in front of him, I ain't leaving at 5. I don't care what they say. I'm staying till 5:30. I'm getting my 7.5 hours. And he felt the need to have to, that ain't right, Chief. You know we got to do. Nah, man, to hell with that. I'm putting all the pressure on you, weirdo. You go tell the boss why we ain't leave. I'm not finna let you put pressure on us on account of this goddamn devil. So he come to me, no, I was just saying, man, I'm just trying to, nah, man, you on some weirdo shit, bro. You trying to speak up for them folks. You ain't management. That money ain't coming out your pocket. Why you care? You just don't want the boss to come look at you funny. Listen, I ain't leaving. So y'all do what y'all gonna do. All this week, we supposed to be leaving at a certain time. I'm getting all my hours. And to hell with the 4th of July. It's bonus time for me. I'm a super slave. I'm finna go get all that bonus money. As soon as class over, I'm going to put my boots on and go right into that slavery. Super slave. They probably Chief working every day. He don't even take off holidays. You fucking right. I'm in here getting this money. Excuse my language. Damn they celebration. Give me my money. Everybody understand? Salaki, continue on Isaiah 47 and 10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge it has perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. That's what's in their heart, man. Right. There is no God. There is no higher power. They're the only one. Right. Verse 11, therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it rises. And mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Everybody understand? That's from the Most High. And this 4th of July and all of these other oppressive celebrations that they have to rub in our faces that they have freedom that we never fought for is important for us to recognize and understand. Everybody understands? Let's drop that. Let me get get Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 1. Let's hold Ecclesiastes 4 and 1. Let's get Zephaniah 2 and 1. Zephaniah 2 and 1. All right, this is Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. It says, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. Everybody understands? Like, the Lord is calling for us to gather together. And one thing that we should take from this oppressive 4th of July is that there is power in gathering together. Yeah. There is strength in gathering together. One thing we can take from that Declaration of Independence is everybody that signed that letter or that document signed their life away. Meaning there was no turning back once they put their signature on there. Them putting their signature on there meant we gonna stand and fight. You understand? And they knew that when they sent that to them British was gonna come down with all of the power of the Queen or whoever the hell was in power at that time. They knew they was gonna have a fight on their hands. But those men who came together and signed that document signed it knowing that, hey, we in this thing together. And that's important for our people in this time because nothing can be accomplished or done for us as a people unless we do it together.
Right.
And that's why, as a people, that's why we look at those, we call people Uncle Toms and we call them sellouts. Because how dare you do something for yourself and not think about your people?
Yeah.
Like, that's a coward's route. It's such a selfish sucker move. And a lot of our people have, for their own advantage, taken that route. And it's in your oppressor to celebrate those people who have sold out, to celebrate those people who have taken the easy way out, to celebrate those people who only cared about themselves, because that's what benefits your oppressor. And that's the reason why certain people have been highlighted throughout our history in this place. There's a reason why Martin Luther King and Malcolm X are celebrated by America, because Martin Luther King and Malcolm X both were examples of how to destroy a movement. Martin Luther King did a lot of that's I have a dream speech was selfish as hell, because whatever his dream was or whatever the dream was, that dream was not a good thing for black people.
Right.
Malcolm X is celebrated by America because Malcolm X ruined that whole Nation of Islam movement. That Nation of Islam thing could have been powerful if Malcolm X wasn't a sellout and a traitor. Everybody understand?
Right.
Malcolm X being such a weak ass nigga, all because Elijah Muhammad was having sex with hoes. You was such a weak nigga to ruin the whole movement. All because they told you to shut your mouth, don't talk for 90 days, and you found out Elijah Muhammad had several women pregnant. You thought that you was better than the movement and ruined the movement because of it. America celebrated Malcolm X only because of that. Malcolm X, during the time that he was alive, was hated by white people. But when he turned his back on that Muslim movement and ruined that Nation of Islam bullshit, we got to have a Malcolm X Day. Malcolm X, what do they celebrate for Malcolm X every year? Come on.
I was like, I'm sorry. That's what I was doing.
I know MLK got a day, but there's something that they celebrate Malcolm X for. Hell, all these streets named after Malcolm X and all of that.
Yeah,
that is done because America wants you to remember Malcolm X. Remember how he turned his back on his people when he found out that his leader was doing, having sex with women. When even in Islam, that ain't against the law.
Right.
The hell Malcolm X was bad about. Go ahead.
It's like May 19th.
It's just called Malcolm X Day.
It's observed on May 19th every year in the United States.
I just remember as a kid, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X was two niggas that we always, talked about.
Yeah.
America allows Malcolm X to be talked about because in the end, Malcolm X did a good thing for America because he helped to ruin the Muslim movement. Everybody understand? The Lord is calling us in Zephaniah 2:1 to gather ourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation that desire. The Lord is telling us to gather together because there's strength in gathering together.
Right.
The only way anything can be done is if we do it together. You understand? That night of the Passover, we're reading the Bible about the Passover. That night where the Lord came through with the angel of death and they killed all the firstborn of the Egyptians, that blood on the doorposts, we did that together.
Right.
It wasn't just one or two houses that had blood on the doorposts. It was several houses, and the angels knew who to kill and who to keep alive because of what we did together.
That's right.
And as we did that together, we heard the screams and the cries of all the people who were not with us, who didn't put the blood on their doorposts. And while we sat there silently together, all of them died. And we understood that gathering together was the right thing to do. Everybody understands? All right. So that's important. Let me drop that. Let me get man, it just came to me. Man, selling out. Saying something about selling out. Oh, go back to Psalms, the 10th chapter. And this is another scripture that shows you what's in the heart of the wicked. And this is where sellouts come from. This is why sellouts are accepted and traitors are accepted by the oppressor. The oppressor loves him a good sellout, loves him a good traitor, because it makes sure that if you're willing to sell out your people, if you're willing to trade on your people, we can use you to our advantage. Everybody understand? Psalms 10:3 explains why they love the traitor and the sellout. Psalms 10:3 says, "For the wicked boasts of his heart's desire, and blesses the covetous whom the Lord abhors. Everybody understand? The wicked boasts of his heart's desire. What is the wicked's? Okay, what is boasting of your heart's desire? You've heard niggas say, "Man, I can't wait to get about this ghetto. I can't wait to get out of this neighborhood and leave these niggas behind. I can't stand living around here. I can't wait till I go move to the suburbs." Right? um, man, I'm trying to think of better examples than that. The point of this is selfishness and greed. The wicked boast of his heart's desires, like America saying, the white man saying in America that it was manifest destiny for them to have power over America from sea to shining sea, right? Or from one ocean to the other, they supposed to have been in power. That's the wicked boasting of his heart's desire, meaning he's so hell bent on doing what he wants to do that he doesn't care who he hurts or who he harms. You understand what I'm saying? Right. It's like saying I'm gonna get rich or die trying. It's like I kill, I steal, I'll sell drugs. I don't care who I hurt, but I'm getting about it in this neighborhood. I don't care who I bring harm to. I'm gonna buy my mama that house. That's boasting of your heart's desire. It's like the thing you want is all that matters, no matter what it means to anybody else. Somebody who wicked does that. The wicked boasts of their heart's desire. Shawabah.
I was just thinking, is this the same thing as what Martin Luther King did? Because you did mention that
Yes.
It was for selfish reasons.
It is the same thing that Martin Luther King did. That I Have a Dream speech was absolutely the wicked boasting of his heart's desire. Because what does little black boys and little white girls gathering together have anything to do with your people, nigga?
Right.
That is a selfish ass dream that you one day want to see little black boys and little white girls holding hands. Well, what about all the black boys who've been murdered for holding white girls' hands?
Yeah.
What about all like what about the what comes along with that? Martin Luther King didn't think that what came along with his dream was the nightmare for the rest of us. Because there's a place where little black boys hold hands with little white girls. It's called the suburbs. It's called, integrated societies. But in those integrated societies and in those suburbs, black people who were left behind struggled and died on drugs and poverty and life in hell. Yeah. So yeah, you got the little black boys holding hands with little white girls, but what did it cost us? Right. He never even thought about what it would cost us because he boasted of his heart's desire. Everybody understands.
If like there was just one more thing too, I was just thinking about a video I had watched talking about, it was some older people, so it was back in that time when all of that was going on. They were talking about nobody is considering what's going to happen to the black-owned businesses once we integrate, and now y'all so in a hurry to go to the white businesses. Who's going to be left here to shop in our business?
There was a nigga that was saying, I'm going to shop at Sears one day.
Yeah, like,
go up at Sears one day, not thinking about what was going to happen to all the black businesses. Yep. You want to go shop in Sears so bad. You want to go get these white people your money so bad. You don't even think about the money you taking away from your brothers and your sisters. Like, it is a evil thing to be selfish, to boast of your heart's desire. Now, the wicked boasts of his heart's desire and blesses the covetous who the Lord hates. What does it mean to be covetous? The wicked blesses the covetous. They bless the covetous. Sis.
You want what somebody else said?
Okay. To what extent?
Like you do anything for it?
You do anything for it. Martin Luther King wanted what white people had so bad that he was willing to sell out his people to have it. Right. You understand? And the white man blesses you for that. Martin Luther King is blessed today because he said that speech. Now you go watch documentaries. There's documentaries that say he didn't write the speech. It wasn't his speech. The nigga read it.
Yeah.
The nigga said it. It was his speech. You understand? And in that speech, he showed his evil. He showed to the white man, I'm willing to be whatever you need me to be. And because of that, they celebrate him. They bless the covetous. The Lord hates a covetous man. Because you want what somebody else wants so bad, you'll do anything to get it. That means you'll kill your brother. That means you'll turn your back on your people. That means you'll disobey the laws of God. And that's an evil thing. Everybody understand? Some evil niggas out here. And the white man lives for those types of niggas. Because those types of niggas, they can take advantage of. They can use to their benefit. I look at the rap music. I look at the music today. All these rappers, they are covetous. They want what white people want so bad that they'll make music about selling. They'll make music about smoking meth. They'll make music like growing up. I just knew because of crack. It was only a matter of time before the music about selling drugs and smoking drugs and doing drugs would go away. I fully expected it to go away one day. Here we are in 2023, and they, smoking weed and codeine syrup and popping a molly and snorting cocaine. These niggas rapping about everything that gets okay to do. Why? Because that's what bring a check. You have rappers that say, "Yeah, I could have been a conscious rapper, but I wouldn't have made no money." That's because you were covetous. You wasn't in it. Like, the rap used to be a thing that brothers was in for the culture. Brothers was in to spread a good message. Once it became about getting money, well, now the white man knows who he need to bless. Now he knows who's willing to do anything to get a check. And that's always been something that's been dangerous to our people. Everybody understand? But again, the Most High knows the spirits of man. And it's right there. The Lord hates somebody who's covetous. The Lord hates a sellout, hates a traitor, hates a nigga that'll turn his back on his people just so he can get what it is that there is for him to get. Everybody understand? And we are not to be that way at all. Like, being that way is what has led to us being in this condition, and is what is spoken of throughout the entirety of the Bible. All right? And to close out the class, I'm going to play something that the Lord put on me years ago. This is, I think, from the year 2017. I made this video, and it was about the 4th of July, and it's called the Angry Black Man's Declaration of Revolution. We're going to go ahead and play that to end the class, all right? Yeah, it's 5 years ago. I'm playing it for everybody online. For those of y'all in the classroom, if you need to turn your phones on and hear it, you can. All right. All right, it's on the screen. Coming through now. Matter of fact, yeah, that's it right there. The Angry Black Man's Declaration of Revolution. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. These are the truths which history have proven to be self-evident. All men are not created equal. To the nation which has never been desired, their rights are trampled underfoot. A right to bear arms, to assemble, to speak against brutality and oppression. What is life? Self-governance, self-determination, self-defense. What is liberty? Self-segregation, cultural independence, mandated morality. What of the pursuit of happiness? Ethnic economics, unimpeded civil advancement, self-supremacy. These are afforded to all but the descendants of Western slaves. Our incessant mourning correlates with the governing of devils. On the side of the oppressed there is no comforter, and for the oppressor there is power. Those who slay us find themselves not guilty, though they hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets. With his words, the slave master spoke of emancipation, affirmative action, and equality, but his policies waged war on our existence. We've answered the call to fight, bleed, and die in all of your wars, even the one against ourselves. From the days of our first encounters with your kind, the sustained violence we've suffered has been initiated, instigated, and promulgated through your crafty counsel taken against the inheritance of the Creator. Although you have been a lady on a hill, the virgin daughter of civilization, your time will soon come to sit down in the dust. As the sound of trumpets, so is the blazing of our voices in the streets to call for the gathering together of the nation not desired. To take your mind, body, and spirit out of America, my people. As corn is sifted in the sieve, now must we be separated from those who have hatefully abused us. A little sanctuary is prepared for us to be reborn, not as homeborn slaves, but as more than conquerors. Not with carnal warfare, but spiritual powers to break down the stronghold of those who profit from our subjugation. What a nation has sown, the same is what she shall reap. Double is what will be repaid for all that was meted against us. In the land of our power, righteousness is the authority. Judgment and justice is not blind, but executed according to what is written, without respect of persons or private interpretation. Our prized royal possessions, those who once were our oppressors. This is the end towards which we strive. Disciplined, focused, and without blemish. Void of criminality. Harmless unless provoked. Sober-minded and with a clear conscience towards our most righteous cause. Heroic, courageous, unafraid, unashamed, and above all, uncompromised. Dependable, reliable, ever willing to lose our lives for our nation. No excuses, no cowards. Kwam Yashar Allah.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all?
Most High Christ. So with that, with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, since 1969, we've been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. In the year 2023, there's nothing more important than for God's chosen people to find out the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is here on the earth. Again, with that, we have classes Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 6 to 8. Your brothers and sisters tuning in. You got family, loved ones, people you care about in the Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas. Get them in contact with the ISUPK. Address to the school is 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. Call-in number for the school is 901-249-0085. 901-249-0085. With that, see y'all tomorrow. Israel Shalom.